Starting out, you guys have 5 seconds to tell me down in the comment section a character or item you'd like to see return or appear in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. Hey, how's it hanging? It's your boy AZ Lazy Gaming, and today we're going to be talking about 5 things from Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 that I think should be brought into Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. We're going to be doing something extra special. We have a collaboration, and we actually have a really cool guest on the channel. Would you like to go ahead and do your intro and stuff like that?
Yeah. Hey everybody. I am NDRage. I do Xenoverse content and it's cool to be here.
For sure, it's great to have you here. And as always, with anybody that I talk about or bring on the channel, I will have his channel down in the description below. Let's get straight into the video. Alrighty, you guys. Now let's jump into number 1. Would you like to go ahead and tell me what your number 1 thing is you'd like to bring back?
Yeah, so the number 1 thing right here is keeping the teams feature. The one where you go to the robot in Canton City and you basically tell him, hey, I want to go create a team. Usually it's you and 2 other people. I think that would be really cool to have in Xenoverse 3, because one thing is that if you have teams, then you don't need to wait for other people. Since you and 2 other of your friends are there, you could just go jump right into a parallel quest, expert mission, all of that such. And also another thing too is that if you have a team, let's say you invite somebody but they're in a different Xenoverse 2 lobby altogether, and if they get you invite, then basically they could accept the invite and boom, there you go, they're in the same exact lobby as you, and you could literally just do poses or anything like that. Just mess around in the Canton City lobby.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So my number 5 that I actually had was based on the story. I want the time eggs to come back. And I say the time eggs because it gives an extra grind system to the game that we rarely ever see. And you know, it gives you that chance to unlock that secret ending that most people aren't gonna get. It's all kind of a choice thing. You don't have to if you don't want to. And so for the completionists out there, I'm pretty sure that's something that we'd like to see come back, seeing as we all will complete the whole Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 story, if that's something we look forward to doing.
Yeah. And yeah, that would be pretty interesting to have.
The same with team registration.
The next one is keeping the mentor feature, where you basically see the mentors throughout Canton City. I think that's pretty cool to unlock the moves instead of having to go do, you know, the parallel quest or the expert missions. Because whenever you finish the mentor test, you basically are able to unlock the moves without having to deal with RNG or anything like that. But another thing will be really cool though is being able to unlock their moveset as well, fight like your mentor.
Nah, for sure. I think that's pretty cool because RNG was a really big thing in Xenoverse 2, and I feel like it held it back from like being the best it could be. Coming in at number 4 for me, I have photo mode. Now, I'm saying this from a creator's point of view, a content creator's point of view, and even somebody who just like to make art from time to time. You don't have to be a content creator, but I feel like it made making thumbnails easier. Everyone got to flex their creative muscles and stuff like that just to show off, upload them. It brought the community together more, seeing everyone make their own storylines and stuff like that with just a picture alone. Coming in at number 3, we have CAC character selection on the fight screen. I thought this was very useful for when I beat the game on one character. I don't want to have to go through and beat the story again in order to use my character online. And so I can just go onto my character that has everything unlocked, make my new character where they have everything like skills and clothing that my first character unlocked, make them and just play with them from the menu where I have all my characters, cast characters, variations, and even my main character.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. But I think an addition to that is if you could have your Xenoverse 1 CAC that you transfer over, also on the selection screen.
Yeah, oh no, that'd be really good.
My number 3 is the Canton City TV. Even though that doesn't really do too much in terms of like the whole gameplay, you know, parallel quest, expert mission, and stuff like that, but it is a really cool event to be able to see like everybody, the player base, come together and just like watch the exact same trailer, because that gives another way to watch a trailer instead of like, you know, having to look it up in YouTube or maybe go to like somebody's live stream on Twitch. You could just watch it right there in Xenoverse 2, upcoming DLCs or Something on the lawns like that. Or maybe if they ever decided to do tournaments, they could host it right there in Conton City TV, and then you could see like everybody's reaction in a way where they just do emotes and such like that.
Okay, I think that's pretty good. And it kind of go back to my number 3, where I talked about bringing the community together a little bit more. And, you know, it's what it's all about. You know, at the end of the day, we are a gaming community. We are the Dragon Ball Xenoverse community. And as a community, we got to stick together. And the Content City TV was a great way to do so. And so bringing that back and expanding on that would probably be the best thing for, like you said, DLC trailers, events that happen in Xenoverse, and pretty much anything else. Coming in at number 2, I have data transfer. Kind of like what they did from Xenoverse 1 to Xenoverse 2, where you create a character from the previous game and you can take all their skills, their clothes, and pretty much anything else besides certain skills that are probably modified in the next game, and you make them the Conton City hero. I think that was a really good addition to the game, and it kind of give everybody a head up on what's gonna be to come in the game, and it implemented your character from the previous story in the game, which was also really cool to see.
Yeah, definitely. And the cutscenes as well, where you could see like kind of how they react a little bit to certain things, because they do like emotions, even though they don't really talk at all. They do facial expressions. And that's really cool, especially where like at the end of the story where it has your Xenoverse 2 CAC and your Xenoverse 1 CAC next to each other, while Goku basically just looks at them and just figures out, oh, who's stronger.
I thought that was a pretty interesting aspect to be put in Xenoverse 2, really, when it first came out. The only thing I think I'd change, though, is the fact that my CAC from Xenoverse 1 wasn't playable in Xenoverse 2. I'd have to go in and use a whole character slot to create him instead of him already being playable.
My number 2 is the fly feature, where you could go ahead and fly in Conton City, not where you're flying like right now, as you can see in the match. Like, yeah, that is obvious because it has that in Xenoverse 1, but in the city, especially if they decide to either keep Conton City but just expand it, or have a new completely city altogether, they should definitely keep that. But I think they should increase the speed a little bit more, because the speed, I mean, it's fine for how it is, but I do think it should be a little faster, because there are at times where the vehicles are even faster than flying.
Okay, so do you think it should be like you unlock it after a certain point in the story again, or do you think it should be unlocked from the jump?
I think a certain point in the story, again, if they're, if vehicles are coming back, then definitely have it unlock in some point in the story, so that way you could use the vehicles a little bit too before going ahead and flying. But if they don't have the vehicles, then yeah, definitely just have flying right off the jump after you go and do like the one tutorial or 2 tutorial mission.
So you think it should be unlocked a little bit sooner than after you beat Frieza?
Yeah, I do think so, because who knows what the city looks like, whether it be Conton City just expanded or a completely new one altogether.
I think that's pretty good. I agree.
My number 1 is keeping the Dragon Balls, how you could go and collect them, right? I think that's very interesting how they did it, because I mean, it's a Dragon Ball game. It has the name Dragon Ball in it, so they should have some sort of, collecting the Dragon Balls, whether it be collecting it in the parallel quest or doing the nail missions. They should definitely. But also, I think that they should add like one thing. Maybe do like some sort of mini game with it, or have like a special expert mission to it where you're guaranteed to unlock at least one Dragon Ball. And the more Dragon Balls that you unlock, closer to the number 7, a little bit harder it gets. Kind of like how it is now, but the first 3 should definitely be okay. You only need to do the mission maybe once or twice, and then that's it, you'll get the 3 Dragon Balls, because the RNG is a little bit too much at times, I think.
No, for sure. I feel that. I think the Dragon Balls were a pretty good addition to the game. And I like when you say the first 3, do you think like the first 3 should be guaranteed for you? when you create a new character, because you know, like in Xenoverse 2, all you have to do is play like the first 2 missions. Then you can go over to the Xenoverse classroom, and then you can talk to the girl, and it's a guaranteed Dragon Ball every time you fight her, no matter how many characters you create.
Right. And yeah, I do think so too, because it's like if they're gonna have the Dragon Balls, have you basically wish for characters that you could only unlock them by using the Dragon Balls, then definitely too, because it does get a little bit um a little bit too much at times for the RNG. Like, okay, you're grinding for the Dragon Balls and such. Yeah, you could go battle her, but you could only battle her once on that one particular character. And if you want to go repeat the exact same thing, well, you're gonna have to go through all the loading screens, the cutscenes, and everything. You're gonna have to skip that over and over again if you want to continuously fight her.
Alrighty, but last but not least for this video, I believe Tosak should come back. Though he was added later on in the game, I feel like he was a very great addition to the game. Seeing as Zenny isn't a in-game currency that you could pay real money for, so the game isn't pay to win. You have to actually grind and put in the work to actually get the Zenny so you can go to Tosak. Yeah, there's measures and grinds and shortcuts you can take to get them, like certain super souls and whatnot, but for the most part, it's all grind at the end of the day. Or you could ask the Dragon Balls for Zenny, but Tosak, going to him, leveling up your character and stuff like that was a very smart thing Xenoverse could have done, and not making it TP medals was even better on their half.
Yeah, I agree, especially having the TP medals basically be used later in the levels, like when you go to, I think it starts at level 70, and then from there, yeah, you have to use TP medals, and the TP medal prices go up. But yeah, that's definitely one way, you know, to level up. And yeah, I agree. One of the fastest too, because levels, especially if you go towards, I think once it goes towards the 80s, that's when it's just.
It starts to become TP medals, right?
Huh?
Does it become TP medals once it's past level 80, or is it still Zenny?
I think it's TP medals.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
So,
well, actually, I think in the 70s, that's when it starts.
okay, so I guess most of the game isn't pay to win.
Yeah.
Alrighty, everyone, we are now at the end of the video, and as you guys can see, my guy Rage here, I appreciate you for being on the channel. Is there anything you'd like to say to the audience before we finish this video up?
One important question for everybody. Do you like chimichangas?
Go ahead and comment it down in the comment section below if you do or not. As always, if you guys enjoyed these videos, I suggest you go watch my playlist where I talk about all things Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I love you guys, and I'll see y'all in the next vid. Peace.